place is like somebody's memory of the town. The memory's fading. It's like there was never anything here but jungle.
Do you serve a purpose or purposely serve?
What's going on, guys? My name is El De Niro and welcome to episode 17 of the Midnight Hour. We're back from a 2-week hiatus where I had scheduling conflicts and I'm making myself sound really important with all of these big words. But today I'm sitting in a friend's studio, which is really exciting. So this should be the most professional sounding episode of the Midnight Hour ever. I'm joined by one of my friends who is a musician, probably not the guy you're thinking of. I am, of course, talking about Chad Kruger from Nickelback. Thanks for joining me, Chad. No, seriously, I'm joined by my friend Kieran, who I've linked his SoundCloud previously. A lot of you guys gave really positive feedback on it. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Even if you want to click it now, go and press play on one of the songs. I think Superman is a favourite of mine. That's still on there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that one is it's amazing, and I think it's available for download as well. Another thing I'll link are videos that Kieran has done, edited, shot, filmed for a band that we both know and they're both friendly with. If anyone wants to know like who Kieran is, I went to school with him for about 3 years during one of my several school stints, and he's still my friend today, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So, are you excited to be on the Midnight Hour?
Not at all.
No?
I wish I wasn't here.
You're dreading it.
I had to do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, well, if you do all right, I'll take the gun away from your head, and then we'll get rolling. But today we're going to be talking about false facts and misconceptions. This idea actually came to me when I was doing a live stream at my friend's house, and someone in the chat just was a fan of the Midnight Hour and said you should do it on misconceptions. And I wrote it down on my phone, looked at it the next day, and I thought about all of the things that we either get wrong or believe to be true or are sort of in the dark about. One of the things that I always relate this back to is this notion that you literally eat 6 spiders a year in your sleep. It's fucking nonsense. Stop believing in it. Like, this comes from somebody in the early 90s. I think it was the year 1994. Somebody decided to start spreading rumors on the internet to show how easy it was to spread rumors on the internet. And one of the ones that they said was that you consume 6 spiders in your sleep. And everyone just latched onto it and just thought, yeah, that sounds plausible. But it's like, I've never eaten anything in my sleep. Why would I eat a spider in my sleep?
Exactly.
It's like another one that everyone thinks is that the a daddy long legs, which is a crane fly or a dragonfly, everyone thinks that they're the most venomous spiders in the world, but they don't have a bite strong enough to pierce human skin. This is nonsense. It's actually not even an arachnid. It's an insect that isn't a spider at all, which is why it has, well, I mean, there are winged spiders, but it's only ever got 6 legs if you look at a daddy long legs. And I think this misconception comes from the idea that somewhere in the world there's a type of spider called a daddy longlegs that is the most poisonous one in the world. I think it's a Brazilian wandering spider, but I can't be 100% sure. But this misconception just came about because people mixed the two names up, and somebody thought, like, that's really weird that a daddy longlegs is the most venomous spider ever, when it's not. And for those who are in the comment section and who are really pedantic, poisonous, venomous, I use those words, I interchange them. It's something I'm guilty of. I'm sorry. I don't know. They're all just not poisonous or venomous anyways, this daddy longlegs thing. So that's another thing that people get wrong. But we have like a full list of things that people are wrong about. A lot of them I'm still angry about for being taught by my teachers that are wrong. One of them, the first thing on the list that we have is about senses. You don't have only 5 senses. You have anywhere between, was it 16 to 20?
Yeah, it's a lot of people say it's up kind of around 9 and more.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't actually know because there's so many senses. Like,
yeah, you can, like, what was the one you had? Your limb, you can tell where the position of your arm. You can't see me, but I'm moving my arm around and I know where it is.
if you have your eyes closed and your arm above your head, you know where your arm is.
Yeah.
It's a sense.
Yeah, you sense. Yeah, exactly. You're fully aware of your sensory movements of your arm, and, like, that's literally a sense, you know. It doesn't relate to taste or touch or anything. It's just that's where it happens to be, and you just know that. What was another example? Did we have another one?
Yeah, there was pain.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
to
true.
feel
Yeah.
pain, that's a sense, of course.
You can sense when there are people around you, you know, like Does that make sense? Like if you were in a tube carriage and you had your eyes closed, you'd know if there were people around you or not. You can sense them.
Yeah.
Or is that something that only witches can do? I don't know.
I'd say it's a bit of both.
Do you ever sense that someone's watching you?
Always.
Do you ever are you ever like right about it and surprised that you're right about it?
Definitely.
How creepy is
it's like
that?
you feel the back of your neck burning, like someone's like staring at you.
I hate that.
I know.
I hate that that's a thing. Like I used to. Do you remember Goosebumps?
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch that a lot, and it always amazed me how TV shows do this thing where to point to a threat somewhere, they'll have the character say like, "Why does it feel like someone's watching me?" And like no one ever says that in a TV show or a movie without actually being right about it, apart from paranoid people. But it's always right, and I was always like, nah, that's not a real thing that people can do, but it legitimately is sometimes.
Yeah. Someone has thought about this before and wrote one of the worst songs in the world about it.
That's right.
So
I
always feel like it's a terrible song.
Everyone says that was a Michael Jackson song, don't they?
A Michael Jackson song?
Yeah.
It's not a Michael Jackson song.
I know. It's another thing everyone's wrong about.
Bullshit. Like, I mean, that's another thing to add to the list right there.
That's, remember the days of LimeWire? People would just title a song fucking whatever.
Whatever, yeah. People would
Michael
download.
Jackson, someone's watching me. What's another one?
You could like download, LimeWire, you could download Barry White song and it'd say Michael Jackson and a lot of people would believe it. Like,
yeah.
Did you hear that new Michael Jackson song? No. He hasn't released an album in years. Like,
he's dead, man.
Yeah.
Let it go.
He's dead, yeah.
Do you know the what's that song? Three Little Birds, or not Three Little Birds, fucking Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that's a Bob Marley song.
No.
It's literally not. Like, if you think that's a Bob Marley song, you probably never heard Bob Marley, and you're also probably a racist.
Yeah.
So, there.
Big racist at that.
Yeah. And probably a cunt as well.
There's another thing to add to the list.
Yeah. It's just people who, it's so weird how that happens. If people see something in text on the internet, they'll think it's real. Like
they automatically believe it.
Yeah.
Especially like with Facebook and stuff. It's like
fucking Facebook.
If something has like 50,000 likes, they automatically believe it and they like it as well.
It's I've seen this being used so much in like to gain a political edge over somebody. You ever see those things where it's like this soldier just came back from Afghanistan where he got shot at and all he was doing was trying to liberate some terrorists, or trying to liberate people from the threat of terrorism and all, and he comes back into his shop and this Arab wouldn't sell him a packet of his favorite cigarettes. It's like that's fantastic. That makes me hate all brown people, and it's definitely true because it's on the internet.
Exactly. It has like 2 million likes, so it has to be true.
Yeah, well, 2 million people.
2 million idiots like that post, if you know what I mean. It's just
it fucking does my head in. Another thing that sort of I see get thrown around a lot, and was actually the basis for the movie Limitless, which had Bradley Cooper in it, which is, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I have.
It's decent. It's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Apart from that scene where he, spoiler alert, drinks the blood.
Yeah,
that was literally the worst.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers are done, by the way. So this idea that you only ever use 10% of your brain, or I've actually seen it, like humans only ever use 6% of their brain. It's like, imagine if we could access the other 90%, like we could probably fly. But it's like...
That got 2 million likes.
Yeah, I know. It was on the TV show Heroes as well. There's some guy giving a talk about it. And that's another thing that makes people believe stuff, is if somebody is dressed sharply and is articulate.
Automatically believe them.
Yeah,
there's trust there, like because they're wearing a suit.
Exactly.
That's bullshit as well.
I was listening to another podcast where they talked about a thing called source amnesia, and it's the idea that you hear facts or you understand things to be facts, but you never remember where you got them from.
Yeah.
And what they likened it to was the dude in Jurassic Park who says, if you stay perfectly still, raptors can't see you, or T-Rexes can't see you. Like, fuck off with that. But a lot of people think it's true. Just because a scientist said it. And that's one of those things. That's what a lot of people have probably gotten this from as well. Like, I've seen quotes on the internet about Einstein saying it. I think everything on the internet that people say Einstein said isn't true. Yeah. Like, a lot of them are like Marilyn Monroe quotes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Einstein said, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
That's exactly what he said. 2 million likes.
On Instagram in black and white. But yeah, you use all of your brain all the time. It's just that there are inactive neurons that appear to not do anything, or, well, in fairness, there's a lot of parts of the brain that we don't know what they do. It's sort of like the universe in that sense. Like, what's dark matter?
Don't know.
Yeah. but it's there, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like like you can. It's actually scary how many analogies or comparisons you can make with a hard drive and a brain. Like, there's a lot of things that make up your computer that you don't know, like processes running in the background. Like, even nowadays, I think with Windows 8 and 7, computers defragment by themselves. You don't even have to do it. So it's like that with the brain. Your brain does things while you're not actually paying any attention to them. And while we haven't unlocked every single key to the brain yet, we do know that even inactive neurons are essential to the development of your, like, pretty much your cohesion, your daily routine and stuff. But
just as important as the live stuff going on, like, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if it was just 10% that you used and we figured out how to access the 90%?
We'd probably be able to fly.
Yeah. What do you not think though that we'd be able to, like, read other people's minds and stuff? And
You see, it's like trying to imagine a color you've never seen before.
yeah.
Until you actually are able to use it, like you can speculate and say, yeah, you'd be able to do this, you'd be able to do that, and read minds. But I think it'd be more, you'd be able to, like, because your eyes work as a part of your brain.
Yeah.
So I think you'd be able to see energy and see different things, like
Probably,
in the
yeah.
air, different, maybe even a different color somewhere, things like that.
That's why a lot of like hippie or druggy people call the, you know, DMT, that dimethyltryptamine. People call it the third eye because, or well, they call the pineal gland that, but supposedly you can access a part of your brain where you can just see everything as raw energy and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's a great idea, but
They're probably just out of it.
yeah.
I have a good feeling that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if I take a lot of hallucinogen, like, you know, it's likely that I'll come up with some crazy shit that I've seen
Exactly.
and probably believe that it's real. But
Don't do drugs.
yeah, well, do the good. No, yeah, don't do
Do
any-
good drugs.
the what you were saying about it's like seeing a color you've never seen. You know, in you know, here, like, we've got sky blue, navy blue, dark blue. Isn't that just navy blue?
It's royal blue.
Yeah, it's all bollocks. But
Yeah.
in Russia, they have 14 different names for different shades of blue.
Really?
And Russian people can subsequently see more types of blue. Like,
Because there's a face to the colour, there's a name to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
So
cool.
that's deadly,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's
Like,
pretty cool.
Yeah, imagine if you were sort of born in, like, imagine we developed language so clearly that you could come up with a word for every different shade on the Photoshop spectrum of colours, because that's the only spectrum of colours
And
that
learn them.
exists. Yeah.
That's why you need more than, inverted commas, 10% of your brain
Yeah.
to learn more things. And
But that's kind of where it all comes from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that there are parts of the brain that we don't really, well, not really parts of the brain, but just
I think it's
parts
just
of
part of
your-
the brains we just can't access.
Yeah.
I think it's just we don't.
Or it's just that we haven't learned to because of, like, I just mentioned a language barrier that legit happens.
Yeah.
So imagine there's probably more ways we could develop to learn more things.
Yeah.
But it's not correlated to the brain in the sense that your brain can already do all of this.
Yeah.
It kind of is the same, isn't it? In a lot
Kind
of
of,
ways.
but it's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It's still a bullshit fact. And,
Bullshit.
And fuck you for even repeating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one related to the brain is the idea that if you're concussed, if someone around you picks up a concussion, you shouldn't let them fall asleep because they might fall into a coma, and, you know, that's bad. That's bullshit.
Bullshit.
And I didn't know this for a long, long time, but
I wasn't necessarily, like, in belief that you couldn't let someone sleep, but I wasn't gonna, like, give them a duvet.
yeah,
You know, I wasn't gonna
you're not
give
going to
them a-
take the chance.
Exactly. Yeah, I wasn't gonna give them a pillow and a duvet when they hit their head. Like,
You don't want, like,
Yeah.
you don't want someone's mum.
I
coming
was
up
just
to
gonna
you,
stand
like,
back and wait for the ambulance. I think that's what I was gonna do. Like, yeah.
Imagine if you did, and, like, someone's mum was just like,
Yeah, a hot water bottle and a
why
pillow.
did you let my son fall into a coma?
He looked tired. Like, I was genuinely concerned that he wasn't getting enough sleep.
Yeah, but that's if you're concussed, you feel faint. It's part of the
Fatigue. Yeah.
It's part of the things that happen, and what you're supposed to do with someone who has a concussion is to actually just let them
Let
fall
them sleep,
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps the healing process.
Yeah.
It makes it all faster, and it's just a better thing. Like, if you stop them from falling asleep, you're literally harming
You're
their
killing
recovery.
them. Like, do not kill your friend. Give him a duvet and a pillow.
So
It's worth the trip up the stairs. Like,
don't do drugs and don't kill your friends.
yeah, just do the good drugs and kill the bad friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd do that.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up with some great lists here of our own along the way to
Yeah.
advise people. Next thing is that heart attacks don't always hurt. This is continuing along the medical route. This is something that kind of concerns me genuinely, because you know my diet and it's the worst in the world. Like, I am going to be dead probably before this is
I think
even done.
Elle's been having a silent heart attack for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, but I've always been counting on the fact that I'll be alert enough with all my 20 senses to know that like when the warning signs are there, you know, like everyone, you smell burnt toast, you taste copper in your mouth, you get a shooting pain down your left arm, you get pins and needles in your left side. Apparently that's not always the case. No. Sometimes you just have a heart attack.
And you're just grand.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, a silent heart attack can take a while to kick in. You do feel a bit different, a bit tired. It's kind of symptoms. I heard this before as well. It's like symptoms of like diabetes. Like you always feel tired and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden a heart attack kicks in.
Oh, so I've got diabetes and a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's fucking grand.
Basically.
Those are, you know, I don't know if this is just me, right? But I hate understanding things about the body, because the more I understand it, the more I realize how fucked up how much I've fucked my body up over the years. Like all the bad things that I do, all the chewing gum that I've swallowed,
cigarettes.
Yeah, and
that chewing gum thing does not do you any harm.
No, you like the idea that chewing gum takes 7 years to digest is
bullshit.
Absolute
and it sticks
nonsense.
to your heart as well.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Exactly.
That's like if you eat like a curry, it just soaks your heart in curry sauce. Like, where does food touch your heart on the way down?
It doesn't. Like, that's the design of the human body, to keep things away from your vital organ. But for some reason, chewing gum just squeezes in there. Like,
it's mad. Yeah, fucking chewing gum. But like, you have enzymes programmed to break up things like that, and does chewing gum?
I wouldn't necessarily encourage swallowing chewing gum, because if saliva really has to overwork to break something down, chewing gum lasts in your mouth for what? Like, it lasts for a while. The flavour goes first, obviously.
I've had chewing gum in my mouth for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's right, actually, yeah.
To remember that.
But like, if saliva cannot break down the chewing gum in my mouth, why go to the trouble of giving your stomach to work? Yeah. So I do not encourage swallowing chewing gum, but swallow it if you want. You're not going to die.
Yeah. So don't kill your friends, don't do drugs, and don't swallow chewing gum. But you can swallow it if you want.
If it's tasty chewing gum, swallow it. Do the good drugs and kill the friends you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So next thing that we never actually found out where this came from, but if the idea that if you eat and then within an hour after eating you go for a swim, you'll get a cramp and die. Well, the dying part is optional depending on how good of a swimmer you are, or the shallow, the depth of the water that you're in. But supposedly this is a complete lie. You don't get cramp at all after eating and swimming.
Nope.
Have you ever, like,
unless you're doing like intense Olympic swimming, I wouldn't necessarily have a Big Mac before I jumped in the pool.
Yeah.
But like having a sandwich at the pool and jumping in and going for a light swim, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it just comes from the idea that if you eat and work out, you get cramp because your body's working while trying to digest?
Yeah, because it's working too hard. Yeah. Like if you're in a pool, like there's more weight off than usual.
Exactly.
Because you're floating.
Yeah.
So the idea of you drowning because you had a sandwich, I don't agree with that, and it's not true.
I know a fella who drowned after he had a packet of M&Ms.
That's right. Are you sure it wasn't Eminem drowned the fella?
Oh, maybe
in a
that's
swimming
what it
pool.
was,
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
I think that could have been it.
Yeah, he was doing the bad kind of drugs.
Another swimming one is when you're in water, your hands get all wrinkly. I'm looking at my hands. They're not wrinkly.
Because we're not in water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But the wrinkles that you get in your hands are not from your body absorbing the water. What is it actually?
Contrary to popular belief, as you said, it's not because your hands are absorbing water. If that was the case, your whole body would be like a prune.
Exactly.
You know that way. So why all of a sudden your hands and your feet? It's because
it's for evolutionary purposes.
Exactly.
Well, that's the theory.
So they say. Like the theory of it is, it's proven that your hands do not absorb water. So the only answer we have for you is the evolution theory.
Yeah, which is. Do you ever think that evolutionary theories are a bit of a cop-out sometimes?
I think so.
Like,
it's because it's something you can't prove, so you can just kind of go, it's evolution.
Giraffes have long necks so that they can eat the grass or the leaves on the higher trees. Like, maybe they eat the grass on the higher trees because they have really long fucking necks.
I think that's what it is. It's a lot more effort to stick their head down to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, with the risk of being kicked up the arse by another animal. Like,
exactly, like a rhino or something.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a lot of evolutionary things. I can go along with them, but I think we need a more vast understanding of
I take
evolution.
a wide berth.
Yeah.
Especially to things on Facebook again.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Another one that I really like is, back in the day in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and the rest of that poem is
His hands were always wrinkly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking mad. But so in 1492, all the morons alive on the planet thought that the world was flat and that Columbus was gonna sail out on his journey and then topple off into the ether and never return because the world was flat and he would have sailed off it. Nobody fucking thought that. Like, that's not a thing that people thought at all. Like, everyone thinks that...
Some people believed it I presume they had less education back then.
But some people believe it now.
Yeah, I know.
There are websites about it now.
There is.
Like, I was on this one website once about people who believe the world is flat. And not only do they think it's flat, right, but they think that if you go to Antarctica and go to the furthest you can go, there are people with guns guarding the edge of the earth.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Have they never seen a globe? That's like saying to someone, if you run fast enough, you'll take off.
Yeah.
You know, and the sense of that is, like, there is no sense in it.
I know, yeah. It's just, some people just... It's like, I think there's a flaw in the human psyche where we just have to believe things that are different to what we're told. Sort of like a really mutated and warped hipster complex where, everyone says that, so it's a fucking lie. The earth is obviously flat. Like, there's obviously people with guns guarding the end of it.
It's people making this stuff up because they've nothing else to say. They've they have to make something up in order to be clever or to be, respected. But like the expression, if you've nothing good to say nothing at all. I'm a firm believer in that. And that
you must hate me then in all of my tweets because I am pretty much
no, I don't mind
exclusively negative.
Once it's good in good reference, I don't mind negativity. But like the likes of the earth being flat, it's bullshit.
Of course,
it's fact.
But no one thought it back then either. It was just a thing that somehow. Do you know when you're in primary school and you're writing with lead pencil and then you move on to pen. And you weren't allowed to just scribble out when you made a mistake.
That's right, you have to start all again.
Yeah, well, I had to put it in brackets, right?
In brackets?
Yeah, and I was writing an essay about Columbus once, and I wrote, Columbus thought that the earth was flat. And then I put round in brackets next to it, because that's what I was instructed to do, is you put the correct word in brackets next to the mistake.
Yeah, but you can't write a flat line
no,
on it.
No, you can't do anything. So I had written, Columbus thought that the earth was flat, round. And it made no sense, and the teacher failed me, and I was just like, but you told me to put it in brackets. And she was like, I know that's the rule, but do you know how stupid this looks? And I was like...
But you abide by the rules. You do what you're told in school.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to scribble it out and face the wrath of teachers.
That just shows your person in authority is not always right.
Oh, no, they're never right.
Always take a wide berth to people. Yeah. Listen and learn, but maybe if you don't believe something, research it maybe.
I think question everything, but don't assume that because you've questioned it that you're right about the fact that you're questioning it.
Yeah.
You know, like the 9/11 thing, you know, all these people who know nothing about structural engineering, but they're all like, there's no way that jet fuel could melt a building. It's like, do you know that? Like, have you ever researched that? Or have you just been told it on the internet?
Yeah.
You know, like, people just like to have an input that makes them seem like they're knowledgeable about something that in reality... Like, you don't have to know that. You don't have to have the answer to everything. Like, sometimes it's okay to say that you don't know something, or if you don't believe something, like, Google it, you know? Like, exactly. It's just one of those things.
That's what I wish years ago, that, like, when my mum used to say, don't sit too close to the TV, your eyes go square.
Yeah.
I would have loved to just look it up on the internet and just go, bullshit. Yeah. The beauty of modern technology. Like, I'm a 90s kid, same as Elle. Yeah. So, like, we didn't have the beauty of an iPhone. Like, they're like, I think 6-year-olds have iPhones now.
Probably.
So... like, they're giving their parents, like, their parents didn't have phones back then, so they're kind of giving their parents lessons on things. I think I actually would like to do a different podcast someday about, like, I want to study it in depth myself about whether or not that makes us stupider because the information is more short. Like, no, but you see, it's the in one ear out the other theory, because you read it, you don't remember it. Exactly. Once you prove something wrong and you can prove it again, you know, in your hand, your brain is now in your hand in the sense that that's like, you can just go back to that. You don't have to go to your brain for the answer. You can just go to this.
It's an extension
iPhone.
Of yourself, but it might be like decreasing your learning capabilities.
It does, definitely.
Because if you exercise your brain more, you just get, like, you can hold more knowledge and whatever.
But the respect for people that go to a phone to prove an answer they believe to be right, find it is right, and learn from it.
Yeah.
that's a good use of technology.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The next thing that we have is the idea that Napoleon was a short guy with a short man syndrome, and this is something I see all the time. Anytime a guy has short man syndrome, which is the idea that short people are more angry, which I also think is bollocks as well.
Yep.
I think people are angry, and some people are shorter than others, so you're more likely to find it. But with Napoleon, what it was that he was 5'7", which at the time was above the average height for a man. You got to remember this is back a long time ago, and we're the tallest we've ever been essentially. But he was 5'7", which at the time was above the average height, and he was referred to as small in a kind of a sense of irony, like sarcasm, like it was funny to call him small because he was not small. And that's why people say that. So that's pretty much that one. If anyone ever says, like, these are also cool facts that make you seem like you know stuff, which is kind of everything I was just ranting about. But, you know, it's fun to be that guy. The next thing from days gone by is the Vikings and the idea that their helmets had horns on it, which isn't true.
Nope.
I don't know why anyone would care about this one enough.
Yeah.
Well, like what? Like,
but it's interesting because if somebody asks you to try and like draw a Viking, you probably will put a horn on the helmet in the sense that that's what you're used to seeing.
But now, if you don't do that now,
yeah.
people say that's not a Viking.
That's not a Viking.
But it's the same. Like the Last Samurai.
It's a fella out of Game of Thrones, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all just, you know, we just have these identities that we associate with people. If I was a Viking, I'd be far more offended with the fact that people thought that Vikings raped and pillaged, which wasn't true at all. They never actually were known for that. They also supported gay rights and were one of the first ancient civilizations, well, not ancient civilizations, but they were one of the first sort of tribes who actually empowered females. Well, one of the most noteworthy ones who did it, I'd say, because there's probably a lot of tribes I don't know about in history. But yeah, the Vikings were actually alright. Like some speculation, some historians believe that the Vikings more than likely were the first ones to discover America. That's another thing. Columbus didn't even discover America. The dude was a complete cunt. Like, he wasn't the first one there at all.
He was a stupid bastard as well. Like,
yeah, he was just a prick.
Yeah,
like, you know, he went there and just took their jobs and
took our land.
Signed on their social welfare and wouldn't leave the country. And I tell that Columbus lad, you know, it's just
fair play to him.
No, not fair play to him. There's something that I read on the internet. Do you remember this? Like last year, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
That redheads are becoming extinct.
Yeah.
Why would anyone say that?
It's because I had 2 million likes on Facebook.
That is literally it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
some idiot does not like redheaded people. It is technically a form of racism, and South Park nailed that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, someone decided to tell people that redheads were going extinct.
Yeah.
It's only if they stop reproducing,
but like redhead, like the ginger gene is some form of mutation, I think, between blonde, like some blonde and brown or something.
Yeah.
Just so you can make a ginger kid even if you're not ginger. You know?
Make a ginger kid.
You fucking can.
Just make him out the back garden, like.
I have blonde hair. I've had blonde hair all my life, but I have a ginger beard.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I have no idea.
Bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's some kind of fucking bullshit.
That's someone trying to annoy you.
It is.
That's what that is.
That's proof of God that he hates me. But yeah, the redheads thing. Nah, redheads aren't going extinct at all.
That's not true.
What do you like? Do you know when we were in school and all, and like there was a ginger person in the class, and they just got dogs abuse?
Horrible abuse.
How shit is that?
It's pretty hard.
I've never understood why that is. Like, why are they somehow worse than?
It's because it's. Do you know what? It's just insecure people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose.
It's just making fun of something that's not. It's a little bit out of the ordinary in the sense that there's a lot more people with black hair or brown hair than there is ginger hair. So you just say, that person's a little bit different. Let's go after their integrity.
They're like the ultimate minority in the world as well.
Yeah.
Like you only really get gingers in Ireland and Britain.
But it's a great thing to be part of an irregular species in the sense that there's not a species, but but
mutants.
Mutants, yeah. No, but it's nice to be part of something that's not regular.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it sets you apart in a good way.
It gives you that bit of exclusivity, and it makes you better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Fucking hipster gingers. Like,
yeah.
But
Christopher Columbus definitely wasn't ginger. Definitely wasn't.
But it's mad how much, like, they just got dogs abuse in school.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of school, one I just thought of, they say, I'm not too sure now, I haven't researched this properly, but it's always something I've just never thought about, that left-handed people are smarter.
Yeah, that's a popular theory because like Einstein was left-handed.
Yeah.
what I find most interesting about left-handed people is that they don't actually know why people are left-handed. It's not because they think with the left side of their brain. The left and right side of your brain are what determines your things like your ability to do maths really quickly or your ability to be articulate. They're like sort of what would you like, the creative side and the more disciplined side. Yeah, they're just on the opposite sides of the brain, and it's not to do with why you write with your left or your right hand. I don't know why people are left-handed.
I don't know either.
Well, science doesn't know, so if we knew, there'd be something wrong with the world, because we would know a deep secret about humanity.
And if we did, right, basically what we should do is we should make up why now. We should tell the people why people are right with their left hands, and it'll get 2 million likes on Facebook.
That's actually...
and
someone
and
has
the
to do
irony
this.
in that would be absolutely beautiful.
How would you even go about... Like, you have to make it believable, so it has to be related to something about... Let's say... people are more passionate about their chosen subject, which allows them to excel in it because the heart is based on the left side and they're following their heart, so they write with their left hand because your heart comes from your left and you're left-handed, and the more you follow your heart, the more you excel. And that's why Einstein was a genius, was because he was clever enough and left-handed enough to pursue his dreams.
So that's true.
Yeah.
So I'd go with that.
That's actually why,
2 million likes.
It's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was the next? Well, we talk about the War of the Worlds thing.
I suppose, why not?
I love
this. It's interesting.
Yeah. So in 1938, Orson Welles' radio adaptation of the War of the Worlds was broadcast on radio stations across America, and the thing that everyone believes is that this led to widespread panic. You know, it was broadcast announcing the arrival of aliens who were coming to pulverize and annihilate and take our resources, and it was, you know, a terrifying time because you know, aliens are invading you. What do you do? And it's all over the radio.
You call Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But if he's not available,
how good was that movie, the War of the Worlds movie?
Yeah,
I really liked it, and everyone hates it.
It was a good watch because it was one of the first of its kind. Like, it was really believable. Like, the CGI, I thought it was great.
And the reason why the alien invasion failed, which we won't say, is exactly how it would happen in real life as well. It's literally, that is, like, science has all but proven that that's how it would go down. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. I don't get why everyone hates it so much. Well, great is a stretch, right? But very watchable and very enjoyable.
You had an hour and a half to do it with 2 hours. Say the movie was 2 hours. You had 2 hours to, like, get that across. Yeah. I think they did okay.
Yeah, I think they did too. But yeah, so what actually happened in 1938 was that
Tom Cruise,
the last samurai arrived. But no, there was no widespread panic. There was nothing. People were like, "This is a really good radio show. Let's listen to this more." Like, that's all that happened. And the idea that there was panic was actually an idea that was thought up by newspaper companies because they were threatened by the radio. Like, radio was new at the time, and it was a new source for news and a new source for entertainment, and previously people only really had newspapers.
And it was a lazy way to read the news, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So now, like, radio comes in and newspapers are like, oh fuck, what do we do? Oh, we'll just slander them as much as possible, and that's what they do. And I would liken this to I was trying to think of an example, a modern example, and I couldn't really come up with a good one, but I have one. You know, do you remember SOPA and PIPA, the internet acts that were going to limit our freedom on the internet?
Yep.
And so when they were at their peak, or, you know, all the discussion about them was at its peak, it's probably about 2 years ago now. Wikipedia did a blackout for a day. They turned Wikipedia off as a form of protest. And I used to buy The Independent, and I read this article in The Independent by a guy called, I won't even say his name, but I hate him. He's awful. Just all his opinions are wrong. Yeah. But he was saying, you know, I don't really care that Wikipedia is black. Completely missing the point as well. Like, exactly. Oh, well, I don't need Wikipedia. Like, yeah, because that's the point, you dickhead. But he's like, I don't care that Wikipedia is blacked out. Most of the things that you find on Wikipedia are wrong anyway. Which, isn't fucking true. Like, no. Wikipedia, while anyone can edit it, it's sourced. Like, you know, you need citations for it. It's all properly done.
Yeah.
And is it any more, like, eligible for failure than a fucking newspaper? How often do they print lies? All the fucking time.
Do you know what the beauty of Wikipedia? It's people, right? People say, that's wrong, right? On Wikipedia, they'd read something, they go, that's not right.
Yeah.
But they went to Wikipedia to find out the answer.
Yeah.
So they're calling something wrong that they don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
They're like, geez, I wonder what the answer to that is. Go on Wikipedia. That's wrong. How the fuck do you know? Like, it's just, that's idiots again. That's idiots.
Yeah, it's mad. But like that was something that they were like, yeah, well, fuck Wikipedia. I don't need it anyway. It's like, it's about the internet. You're a newspaper. You can't criticize any type of journalism when the newspapers are the people who, you know what I mean. I don't want to get into how much I hate the fucking Daily Mail and the likes of them, but like, for God's sake.
But there is a lot of power behind tabloids.
There is, yeah. But
that just shows you we're still talking about the Orson Welles thing.
Yeah.
And the power of tabloids to this day are still going. It's crazy.
And everyone still believes it.
Of course you do. You read the front page. There's certain people out there that read the front page and believe it.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit as well.
Did you see, there was a great article in the Daily Mail the other week of some celebrity woman was like wearing barely any clothes. That was the whole article.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's a fantastic piece of journalism that really, it really touches my soul.
Yeah.
The next thing that we have is the Great Wall of China, the only object visible from space. If you're a fucking idiot.
Yep.
No, you can see tons of things from space. Like, do you remember when Felix Baumgartner did that jump from the edge of space, and you could see
the Red Bull.
Yeah. Red Bull Stratus, and you could see everything, like the mountains, and
very well.
That's what it looks like from space.
Obviously, the further you get away, the less you will see.
Yeah,
but at the same time, in space, on the border of space, when you're in space, you can see a lot more than the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, it's not like when you scroll out, suddenly the only thing left there is the Great Wall of China. Yeah, you can see it's like fuck off with all this stuff. It's just not accurate. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's probably one of those things that was said in jest and to make a point, you know. Oh, well, it's the only object visible from space, lol. Back in the day, didn't consider it, didn't think it all the way through, and then it turns out that everyone believes it, like, however many years later. But it's a kind of just a mental thing to tell people that they believe.
Do you know what it is? I'd say that was something like generated to get people to visit the Great Wall of China.
Could have been.
It was like a tourism aspect, like to get people to come and look at it. Jeez, this is so big, you can see it from space.
But like, it's called the Great Wall. If that's not enough, like,
it's a grand wall.
It's great. I 9 out of 10, probably the best wall I've seen.
It is one of the best walls I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it keeps out the Mongolians as well.
That's true.
You know, that's what
South Park nailed that one.
Yeah, that was awful. The next thing is this was something I learned in school, right? And I'm legitimately angry that I was taught this when it's bollocks. On your tongue, you've got 5 separate compartments for taste. That, you know, you've got the part of your tongue that understands sweet things and salt, and it's all nonsense. All of your tongue feels all of those things all the time. There's no different parts of your tongue that do different things differently. It's just your tongue, and that's it.
There is different sensations in the sense that, like, saliva coming rushing to your mouth. When you bite into a lemon, you get that kind of sourness on your jaw, but it's not your tongue.
Yeah. In the same way that if I put my finger in some chili and it doesn't burn my finger, but if I put it in my eye, like, that shit will burn.
Yep.
Like, that'll fuck you up. Like, it's the same as that. It's not... why did they waste my time in school telling me this shit and making me learn it and everything? It's like, it's not even right, you fuckers.
So, that's not true.
No, it's just not. We do another one about kind of biology. It is biology, isn't it? The idea that if you look at your veins right now, they're blue, and that's because the blood flowing through your body is blue until it hits the air. Once your blood interacts with oxygen, it immediately becomes red before you can even see it, so faster than the speed of sight. It's complete and utter nonsense as well.
It's shite.
Your blood is darker.
Yeah. In certain parts of the body, yeah. Due to less oxygen or whatever it is, it does go a different shade, but it is not blue.
The reason that your veins are blue is an evolutionary thing to stop heroin addicts from shooting up in toilets with UV lights.
It's a shading issue, isn't it?
I forget what it actually is.
It is, yeah.
I think it's just so you can see them or something, isn't it? Like, that would make sense to me, so that you know where to inject the heroin.
Yeah.
It's, you know, evolution has taught us to do lots of heroin.
The reason why you have veins is to do heroin.
Yeah.
But I'd advise you don't do it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I veins.
Yeah,
I think.
Same. Yeah, it's just so that
I don't think there's any other. Is there any other reason to have veins?
No,
No.
Absolutely none. Like,
So it's not true anyway. Your veins are blue because if you need to inject heroin, you can't do it under a UV light for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But if you want to inject heroin, your veins are there and they're blue so you can see them.
It's disrespectful to do heroin when there's UV lights around anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like your call to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's like a stop sign. Don't drive through it.
Exactly.
Just stop.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
Disregard the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. What was the next one on the list that we had after Blue Blood?
The next
I'll
one
let
on the
you
list.
introduce this one.
Jeez. Right, what have we got? Arashta, I have written down here, is basically that the orange, the colour, originated from the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it actually is.
Oh, that is what it actually is. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. So basically, people who think that the fruit originated from the colour
Yeah.
is bullshit.
Yeah, but I had this. So,
But to be honest, it's a fairly reasonable mistake.
like, what happened was there was like red. Basically, orange was just either red or yellow back in the day because that was just the words that they used for it. It was just one of those colors. You know, they didn't really differentiate it. But then people just called an orange, and I guess noticed the vibrancy of the color a bit more and just referred to that as orange because it matches the fruit. And I had this argument with someone in college, right?
Yeah.
I need you to like wrap your head around this because I don't know if I can explain it.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard, right? But he basically said to me that until the name for the color was invented, the color didn't exist. And you know how I said about the Russian thing that they could see
the different shades,
It's not the same as that because he said that the color
didn't exist at all.
Yeah. So I said to him, I was like, so,
you didn't punch him, did you?
No, I had to like hold.
That's
myself
one of
back.
the friends that you don't like that you kill.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd say, yeah.
But
so basically what you're saying is he said if you seen a rose and it was red,
yeah,
if you couldn't pronounce red, you couldn't see the colour.
exactly.
What an asshole.
But and I was like, all right, man, what color was fire before they had a word for orange? And he was like, I was just red. And I was like,
what happened before red?
Yeah, I was like, what about the sunset over the Grand Canyon? He was like, it's just red.
So that could give the theory that colourblind people are stupid. Because like if you say to someone, oh, that's red, they're like, oh yeah, red. But they don't really understand it, so they can't actually see it.
Yeah.
So basically your friend was an idiot.
It's just,
yeah.
Well, I honestly, I had to, and I know it sounds like he just meant
That'd make you take a step back.
Yeah.
Like, that the stupidity would knock you down.
But like I fought it out of him to find out that he didn't actually mean that the colour didn't exist in the world at all, ever. But that's what he meant. And I was like, are you sure you don't just mean that they didn't have a word for it?
The reason why you come up with a name with it is so you can differentiate it from another colour.
Yeah. So
you know
what
I mean?
I did
you
to
can,
him...
like when you're talking to someone, you can differentiate the difference between orange and red.
Exactly.
You can tell them apart.
What I did was, this is the first time I have ever used any of that algebra bollocks that you learn in school. And I said to him, like, listen, man, right? So you have a rose. This is red. And you have some fire. This is just X because orange doesn't exist. So this is just X. It's still not the same as red because it's X and they're quite clearly visibly different. But he was like, no, they were just the same back then. And I was just like, you are literally a cunt. And
A friend of mine is in a band called White Chalk, and they have this song called Black to Blue. And so the lyrics are black to blue to red to violet. So say for instance that there was no word for the colour violet. So the song would be black to blue to red to... like, it doesn't make any sense. Like.
Yeah. But you would just say purple, wouldn't you?
Like, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
No, I think your word was better. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, that was it there.
So that's what it is. If anyone ever asks you the colours of the rainbow...
But that's probably what they used to do, like, you know, before actual words were invented, like, your friend probably believes that people, like, so if I'm saying red and orange, it'd be like, like... So
that's probably what it was.
It's stupidity 101.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's not true. So
yeah, it's all just fucking nonsense. Do we even have anything else written down?
I think that's pretty much it covered, isn't it? Like
it's fly off the cuff here a little bit and talk about some other things. Basically, I really like cats. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
No, I want to sort of examine the stuff about Facebook a bit more, and so you know when there's a status that says like blah 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 blah. No, like let's say
that's what it should say.
Yeah. Let's say the soldier thing, right? And it's on one of those pages, and it's like, share this if you love your country. Like because some brown-skinned person said something bad to a white-skinned person, and therefore the world is completely wrong. So share this page.
The world's flat again.
Yeah. Right. So somebody should, if somebody in the comment section completely disproves their nonsense and completely sources their reasons why it's bullshit, like, you know, link to maybe a Snopes article about why it's made up, that status should have a different filter of tint on it.
Yeah.
So that people know, they'll see it, they'll see how many likes it has. It still has its prominence, but it's got the colour on it where people are like, oh, so that's a bullshit thing that was proved wrong. That should exist.
Yeah.
That's one of the... I think that's a great thing that should come into social media to stop the spread of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it is, like, a lot of people... Like, we've just listed, maybe 14, 15 things that people believed in that have been proven to be nonsense. But people still believe them. And they keep on... They continuously get spread across social media. So if you had just a filter to stop it all... Wouldn't that just be a great thing? Like,
Very
someone
much
needs
so.
to come up with that.
Yeah.
I think I should go to the
But
patent
that's
office.
Carl Pilkington from Idiot Abroad and Ricky Gervais, and he had this theory that Ricky Gervais asked him, if you had one superpower, what would it be? So he could pick anything in the world he wanted. So he came up with this superhero basically that was basically the bullshit man. So what he'd do is whenever someone was talking shit basically and lying and telling porcupines, he'd go into a phone box or something, he'd spin around and he'd have a like a Superman suit on, but it'd have a big B on it. So he'd fly straight into it like the room and just go, bullshit. So I think when someone's writing up a status just in order to get likes, he should fly in, pick up the laptop, hit them with it and say bullshit.
I think my idea is easier.
Yeah, I think so maybe.
I think it would cost them significantly less.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have to develop the technology necessary to make that happen.
Maybe one day when we can use more than inverted commas 10% of our brain, we can develop. we can learn how to fly, and I can be bullshit man.
But like, what do you think of what do you think is the fucking... What's the thing that you see on Facebook the most that annoys you the most?
Actually, I seen something the other day. It was very good. This is the stupidest girl on Facebook. It basically, a lot of people were sharing it. What's the director of Jurassic Park? Michael Bay, was it?
No, he was Transformer.
Transformer, sorry, yeah. Who's Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park was Spielberg.
Was it Spielberg? Yeah. So it was Spielberg sitting beside one of the dinosaurs.
That's right.
Absolutely brilliant. And basically said, I can't believe this hunter killed whatever. I can't remember. It was probably a T-Rex or something.
I think it was raptors. Oh, they were giants, weren't they?
Yeah, they were huge.
T-Rexes, yeah.
So she said, I can't believe he killed this beautiful T-Rex or something. And someone said, if it's Spielberg, I think, yeah, that's Spielberg, the director of Jurassic Park. He's sitting beside one of the props.
Yeah.
And but there was loads of comments and blah blah. But I think it got like 800,000 likes, and the most liked comment was her saying, "Whoa, 200,000 likes! Thank you guys for supporting this worthy cause." That is stupidity 101.
It's true.
Yeah, I think that's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen on Facebook.
It's so bad, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
there's something about people that makes them want to just express outrage, but it's this uncontrolled, unfiltered, unsolicited outrage that's just pointing towards a world gone wrong that they don't fully understand. And one of the things I see the most is soldiers should get footballers' wages. Do you know how fucking stupid that is to say?
Yeah.
Who's going to foot the bill? Who's going to pay for them? Like, until you see a world war sponsored by KFC, you can fuck off with your soldiers getting footballers'
But you
wages.
see, a lot of people complain about that. They say like, "Oh, footballers getting paid to kick the ball in the net, and they're getting paid 200,000 a week or whatever." But where's the justice in paying somebody 200,000 a week to shoot somebody?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Soldiers are there to protect your country, not to kill people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the idea of paying them more than an average wage to kill somebody, I think, is a bit...
It's so, like...
It's a bit far-fetched.
And even the way that, like, oh, yeah, we can't have gay people in the military. Like, yeah, you're not allowed to train a homosexual to go kill a bunch of people in a hospital in Afghanistan somewhere. And it's like...
Yeah.
All the stuff about people need to understand that soldiers, and just understand this, they choose to be soldiers.
Exactly.
But yeah, like it's fucking, like, every time a discussion about Wayne Rooney comes up, it's like, oh look, he just mishit that ball, but he's getting paid 300 grand a week. It's like, he's worth that because that's what the club is paying for him. That's the club. Like, they have their own balance sheets. They have their own little economy in football as well. It's not as simple as... You're not paying for it.
Yeah.
It's not coming out of your tax. People care more about what footballers earn than they do about what the government spends of their money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they released all those figures about 3 years ago, you might not remember because I was living in Britain at the time, but they released the figures of what the MPs spend of the taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
There's a dude who spent like 14 grand on a TV that literally the British public paid for. People care more about Rooney getting paid by his club
What was he watching?
I don't know.
What was he watching? Like,
I like it.
he was watching football.
Probably, yeah. Ranting about Rooney's wages.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is just... before you vent, you should understand what you're angry about.
I think it's think before you speak.
Yeah, but it's just like you hear people nowadays in Ireland, especially because our economy is bullshit now.
Yeah.
People are just like, oh, it's all the Polish people staying over here keeping our money and all. It's like when things were good, the Polish people did all of the jobs that none of us wanted to do, and they because that they helped their economy grow. So now that things are bad, they're just like us. Like, we're all in it together. But people are just like,
it's just an easy blame.
Yeah, send them back. But it's like the money that goes from the money that goes into social welfare is a fraction of the money that goes into government.
Yeah.
And no one cares what that money is spent on. So why do they care so? Like, it's so easy to blame your fellow man instead of just looking behind the curtain, as it were. And that makes me sound like I'm advocating conspiracy theories, doesn't it? Look behind the curtain. JFK shot 9/11.
Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, that's... I don't know. I think we ended that on a... So don't do drugs.
Do the good drugs.
Yeah.
Kill only the friends you don't like.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Something about... Was it orange? No.
No.
I don't know, but it happened. Well,
don't eat yellow snow.
That was not the one, but don't do that anyway.
I wouldn't do that.
But yeah, I think we're done here, are we?
I think so.
Grand. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for letting me use your magnificent studio to record. Hey, if you guys like this episode, actually, leave a like on the video, or else just leave a comment or something. Like, I'm not begging for likes. I know this series doesn't grow the same way as a normal series because it isn't a normal series. So, like, let me know. Like, I'm gonna need feedback, you know. So, the show should return again next week, we hope. We're just trying to fucking figure everything out because it's been a sort of a weird period and everything like that. But yeah, we're done here. Leave a like, leave a comment. Go check out all of Kieran's links in the description and listen to him singing because it'll blow your mind.
I'm terrible.
It's just I sing all the songs and you just put your name on it.
That's right.
It's fucking nonsense. I hate it. I'm sick of it.
But listen,
actually, like,
it has to be done.
I'm going home.
Okay, man. Pleasure.
Lay beside me, dear. You know it's okay.